Hey guys, we're back with another episode of Real Talk with Joe and Cody. How's it going, man?
Doing good. How about you?
Good. You had your family in town or your brother in town. How'd that go?
Yes, it was nice. He
Yeah.
came into town from Arizona. He stayed with us for a couple days, so it's nice. We get to see him every, I don't know, probably a couple of years or so. So nice to
Nice.
just hang out. We had like nothing planned, so it was kind of nice where it was just a relaxing time.
Yeah.
Our kids tend to they they'll make a person feel very welcomed, but also a little overwhelmed at the same time. So he got plenty of time with the kids.
Yeah.
And of course, it's like when he's here, we get the one day of rain that we've had
Yeah.
in summer for years now. Like, I don't know if that's a good thing coming from
Yeah.
120 degrees to
It probably
rain,
is a
or
little
if that's,
nice.
I think so.
Yeah, my sister's in
Yeah.
Arizona and she's been here before and been in the rain and is like, I actually miss this a lot, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But because you're just not getting it over there. But
Yeah. It's a weird feeling because, growing up here, obviously we get plenty of rain. So then living somewhere else where you don't get much rain, you wouldn't think that you'd miss it. But I know I've encountered that before where I'm like, man, I wouldn't mind a
yeah,
cooler day with a little bit of rain, even if it's just here and there. But
I know. I can't when I'm here, I can't stand the rain towards the end of the year.
yeah,
Cannot
same
stand
here.
it. But I can't. Yeah, I think if I was in Arizona, I'd probably want some sort of relief from the sun with my
Yep.
precious ginger skin. So,
Yeah. Just
um,
baking.
well, lots of real estate talk. Like I feel like at least from the real estate side of things, things are much. We've talked about it before. It was a disappointing summer
Yeah.
overall. I think the buyer activity has slowed, seller activity is slow. As I don't think it's slowed, but its sellers are coming into the market getting a real slap to the face,
Yeah.
seeing that buyers aren't pulling the trigger on a home as
Yep.
quickly as they used to be. Um, I think this is, and correct me if I'm wrong or if you disagree with this. I think that it's historically, at least historically over the last year or so, has been everyone waiting for rates. We talked about it over the last year of like
Yeah.
rates could drop towards the end of the year. We could see rates drop. And I think that was the ultimate driver of buyer activity was everyone hedging their
Hmm.
bets on the rates. I think I think they're beyond it. I think that it's more of an economy based. I think there's an
Hmm.
instability, and I don't know if the economy's unstable. I think people are waiting for some good or bad. I think honestly, I think they're just
Yeah.
waiting for what will we be doing. Are we going down a path? If we are we going down this path to the right? Or are we going down this path to the left? And I think
Yeah.
because the rates, I think when we saw rates drop a little bit, we'd see buyer activity coincide immediately with that. And we're not
Yep.
seeing that. We're seeing the rates drop and we're still seeing buyer activity stall.
Hmm.
And I believe personally, and I believe that the economy is more of their concern to see like,
Hmm.
where am I going to be in this economy, wherever direction that goes? And
Yeah.
I don't know. Am I right or wrong? Or I
I
don't know. That's
think
just my theory.
I don't know if it's necessarily right or wrong, but I do have a similar feeling, and I think that rates obviously have a huge impact
Yeah.
because rates translate to payment, which also translates to economy. I mean, anybody that you talk to, you can talk about inflation stuff like, oh, inflation stuff's coming down. And I feel like I'll read articles on this or posts about it. And you look through the comments, and well, maybe that's exaggerating. A lot of the comments are, yeah, but have you been grocery shopping lately? Have you had
Yeah.
to pay for insurance? Like all these things that, we can show numbers and signs that the inflation is going down and the interest rates are starting to go down.
Hmm.
But I do agree. I think that there's just a lot of people that are like, it is really expensive right now just to live. And
Yeah.
then to add on a mortgage payment that's higher than what we're paying, I think that there's just still enough of a gap between what people are paying to rent and what people would be paying to buy, especially for first-time home buyers, that they just don't feel like they can afford it. And I know you and I have talked about it a lot, and I talk to buyers about this all the time, and it's like, well, I think we're going to wait until spring.
Yeah.
Last winter it was we're going to wait until spring or maybe summer, kind of see if anything's changed. And now it's like, well, I think we're going to hold off until spring. We just signed a new lease extension. and we're going to kind of just see where things are at. And I think that's the case more and more. And I've talked to other agents that have listings and stuff that have been sitting for a while, and it's kind of a mixed bag on just not getting a lot of activity. And I think that there's
For
just
sure.
more and more people that are on the sidelines for just, I mean, it has to be one of the two things. It's either too expensive or they are just really uncertain on what their job looks like.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
mean,
I
we
think
see
that,
it.
yeah, it's that's what sorry, I don't know where I'm going with this. I guess it's more of just like and I'm not saying even politically right or left, or you can love Trump or hate Trump or whatever. I'm not even getting into the
Mhm,
politics of it. I'm just saying that I think, from my standpoint, you have very conservative people that are still holding back, being like, okay, we
mhm.
want these tariffs to work, we want this all to work, but we're going to hold off and see what goes on. Then there's the liberal side of things saying he's an idiot,
Yeah,
but we're still waiting to see what the economy does. It doesn't matter
sure.
what your opinion is of what you think the trajectory is. I think people just want some even instability. A stable instability
Yes.
is better than what it is, because it seems like it's kind of like, okay, what are we doing this week? And I don't think the
Yeah.
average consumer really wants to make a large purchase, when they don't
Hmm.
know what's happening week to week. And that's,
Yeah.
I think personally, I think that's a short term. I think we will see a trajectory pretty soon. That's just
Yeah.
from my own stuff, is
Yep.
seeing that, what good or bad, it will be a trajectory that we're going to be like, okay, this is kind of what it is. But I just
Yeah.
don't think it's rates anymore. I think that the rates are going down. They're continuing to go down. There's predictions that they'll continue to go down. I just don't think people are sitting waiting for a 6.3% rate, and then
Yeah.
they're like, okay, I'm going. It's
Right.
unless the rates, like you said, rates ultimately do help purchase a property, but they're not
Hmm.
getting into the fives anytime soon, that people are
No.
predicting. So I think people
Yeah.
have accepted the sixes. I just don't think they're waiting for 6.2 versus 6.7. And that's going to make the deal.
Right.
Like, I think
Yeah.
it's more of what's going on in our lives,
Sure.
going to go on in our lives, or what's currently going on in our lives.
Yes. I think that there's been a lot of uncertainty for people that follow. I know there's probably plenty of people that just don't even really pay attention to the news or the politics side of things. But I think for those that do, there's just a lot of instability, like you're
Hmm.
talking about, and it's just a matter of like, is this going to end up ultimately working really well, or is this going to turn into a big issue, and then we're just going to kind of wait and see? And I mean, the hard part with wait and see is if if it goes the way you don't plan for it to go, then you could be waiting longer and longer,
For
or you
sure.
could be going through a tougher battle. I watched a video. I don't know if you ever watched the RE Source. It's
Mm.
uh,
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah,
guys
yeah, yeah,
up in like Seattle area.
yeah.
They put out some really good videos, and um, I was watching one yesterday, and he's talking about rates potentially being getting down into the low sixes by the end of the year, and kind of going through the different data points and everything, and just saying how kind of, I guess maybe kind of reconfirming too, like what I know we have talked about and how I feel about certain things, where it's like, as a buyer, where are you? Because if we do see this, like currently in today, we have one of the softer markets, from being able to be flexible with a seller that we've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And if rates do make a big push and people start to jump back in it, I think he was saying that it would be like another like 500,000 potential buyers or something if we get
Yeah.
down to a certain
Yeah.
area. And he didn't specify if that was regionally or nationally or whatever. But regardless, that's just that many more homes that are going to sell, and where are you at? And it's always nice to hear it from other people,
For
because it's
sure.
like we kind of make our own opinions based on what we understand. And when you hear somebody that says something that's similar to what you feel, you're like, okay, maybe I'm not just, I tend to be too optimistic at times.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well, makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a tough market, and I think the hard part is that these things are very individual, and we can preach all we want of having your goals and your investment goals are individual to you. And that's like,
Hmm.
I'm not anti-media. I'm not like the fake news type of thing, but it is like, if you're getting your real estate advice from CNN or Fox News over a 30-minute clip or a minute, or you sit and
Hmm.
binge watch it all day, you're probably wrong with
Yeah.
probably everything every decision you're making. If you're
Yes.
taking the advice from both polar sides of it, MSNBC or Fox News, it's like if you're getting all of your decision making capabilities based on these media outlets, you're
Yeah.
probably going down the wrong path. And that's unfortunate for our industry, because I do think the sky is falling in the media.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And it's not necessarily true. Things are slowing down. We have to adjust
Mm-hmm.
to a slowdown, but I don't see, everyone's like, is this the bubble? Is this the burst? And it's like,
Right.
if people went at this a little more rationally, I think we'd be in a better position. I think people make these extreme decisions based on these short video clips,
Mm-hmm.
from so-called experts in the industry, and they overgeneralize. Like, they can only overgeneralize a national news article versus like Wilsonville, Oregon, or
Uh-huh.
it's just not going to coincide with what's going on. So yeah, it's
Yep.
unfortunate, but that's kind of what, with the life we live now, of these 30-second clips from experts in the industry, or
Yeah.
so-called experts, and people listen to it and they move on and they say, I'm making my decision based on that minute long clip,
Uh-huh.
where they need to be listening to Real Talk with Joe and Cody every week.
Yes, they do.
Kind
Absolutely.
of ironic that we're having a live stream about the same things, but yeah,
Right.
but we're more important than that.
Yes.
We know what
Well,
we're
and I
talking
think if
about.
yeah, if you look back too, I think there's always still going to be, for who knows how long, there's going to be that lingering 2008, 2009.
Yeah,
This is, every time something happens, good or bad, it's like pointing back to that. Well, what
yep,
if? And sure, there is the what if. Like, I'm not going to say that it could never happen again. But how many years now has it been viewed as housing bubble?
yeah,
Prices are going up, people are going crazy, housing bubble, housing bubble. Prices start to go down, not as many buyers, housing market crash. Like,
yeah.
I,
No one's happy.
there's just
No
not
matter
this
what it is.
extreme
Yeah,
that everybody wants. I think
for sure.
I also think too, the downside is when you have separate little small media accounts like we do, um, but bigger ones that have big followings, they want to put out content that gets people to click on it.
For sure.
And a lot of it, I think, tends to be more scare
Yep.
or
Or fear tactic. Yeah.
fear tactic, instead of
Yep.
just like maybe shooting it a little bit more down the middle. But I feel like it's put that in so many people's heads of like, man, we gotta wait and see what happens,
Yeah.
because, well, yeah, wait and see, but also wait and see could also mean that you're waiting for. I mean, when is the right time? So I don't know.
Yeah, I think the media in the news is you never. I have not once seen a news article in any part of the market where it was like, "Hey, things are great with real estate," or "Things are great."
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
we've got nothing to report. And, when it was
Uh-huh.
COVID, it was like, "Oh, the buyers are struggling. The market is terrible because the buyers are struggling because the rates are so
Hmm.
low and they're overpricing." And then it was like, now it's like sellers are going terrible, buyers are. It's just, you got to weed through the noise to get to
Yeah.
the right thing. There's some truths in all of that stuff, but really working with people that know what they're doing and not going to scare tactic you or fluff you
Yeah.
to the point. I've seen agents
Exactly.
tell clients, yeah, you can get X amount in this market. This is a great market for sellers. This is a great, and that's
Yeah.
unrealistic too. So it's like getting a
Totally.
realistic expectation is the only way to go here. So,
Yep.
and it's only through us. We're the gatekeepers of that realistic expectation. So
We are that
if
source.
you don't do it, then that's on you. So if
That's
you haven't been
right.
watching this, but anyways, well, we've got off our pedestals, man. Well, it was good talking to
Yes.
you. I think the
You
market
as
is,
well.
hopefully, I am optimistic about fall. I do think that sooner than later things will, especially with tariffs and things, and the
Hmm.
results of those will kind of indicate what happened and what is going on. And I do think that'll
Yep.
happen sooner than later. So my hope is that fall kind of picks up, which it normally does right before
Yeah.
we hit the holidays. So
Yep.
so that's
I
the
agree.
hope. But
I've been feeling this way for years.
yeah, you've been
Probably
very
just because
positive.
I didn't expect for it to last as long as it did, being up in the
Yeah.
sevens.
Eventually
But it
staying
does.
positive works, because you can be
Yes.
positive as it's tanking, and then if you're positive as it's going up, you were right. So
Yeah. But I do feel like we are definitely getting primed for finally some impactful movement
yeah,
from
I
the
think
from
so.
the rate side of things. I feel like
I think so.
it's taken this long for things to kind of put enough pressure, and I feel like the pressure is starting to be applied.
For
And
sure.
where that goes, I don't know, but it's always a good feeling when you start to see that pressure applied, because that means that we're just lowering that benchmark,
Yeah.
and and just kind of it slowly will stabilize, which could ultimately be the best thing for the market, is just not dropping it super quick, and then it's this crazy environment, which we would love, but it's could turn into a problem in another couple years. So
For sure.
maybe it's the right stair stepping down, but it always feels nice when it's like, okay, I think we're getting closer to taking another step down.
Yeah.
So I don't know, we'll see.
We will see. Okay, man. Well, it's good to talk to you. And until
Hey, you
next
as
week.
well.